Adults who reconnected with an estranged parent, what changed everything? I never planned on speaking to my father again. I was 29, divorced, working double shifts at the accounting firm when the nursing home called at 2 a.m. Your father had another episode. He's been asking for someone named Danny. I'm Danny. I drove there anyway. The nurse looked exhausted. He's been here 6 months. No visitors except his court appointed guardian, early stage dementia, but he gets violent when confused. I found him sitting by the window staring at nothing. When he saw me, his eyes lit up with recognition that flickered and died. Do I know you? He asked. I'm your son. I sat down carefully. We hadn't spoken in 12 years, not since Mom's funeral when he blamed me for not visiting her enough. The next morning, he didn't remember our conversation, but something made me come back. The staff was overwhelmed. Ed would wander the halls calling for his mother who'd been dead for 30 years. When I spoke to him in the calm voice I used with difficult clients, he actually listened. Would you consider joining our family meeting program? The social worker asked after my third visit. He responds to you differently than anyone else. My apartment was a mess. My schedule was insane. My ex-wife thought I was crazy for trying. I said yes anyway. I started visiting twice a week. Dad had good days and bad days. On good days, he remembered my name and asked about work. On bad days, he accused me of stealing his wallet or called me by his brother's name, but he always calmed down when I arrived. You have his eyes, he told me one afternoon, looking confused. My son has eyes like that. I am your son, Dad. My son doesn't visit, haven't seen him in years. The pain in his voice was real. I realized he'd been carrying that hurt all along, even as his memory faded. I started bringing photo albums my mother had kept, pictures of little league games he'd coached, camping trips I'd forgotten, my college graduation where he'd cried. Slowly, fragments started connecting. You were afraid of the tent stakes, he said one day, laughing. Thought they'd poke through and get you. 3 months in, Dad had a stroke. I know, but it accelerated everything. The doctor warned me, he's declining rapidly. If you want to have real conversations, now's the time. I took family leave. My supervisor wasn't happy, but my assistant covered the essential work. The stroke left Dad weaker, but somehow clearer. I was angry for so long, he told me one evening as we watched the sunset from his window. Your mother's death, my mistakes, getting old, I took it out on you. You were grieving, Dad. That's no excuse. I missed 12 years of your life because I was too proud to apologize. He squeezed my hand with surprising strength. Why did you come back? I told him the truth. Because somewhere under all that anger, you were still my father, and I needed to know if there was anything left worth saving. Yesterday, at the nursing home's Father's Day celebration, Dad introduced me to his table mates. This is my son, Danny. He visits every week. Later, as we walked slowly down the hall, he asked the question I'd been dreading. How much time do we have left? I don't know, Dad, but we have right now. That's enough, he said, squeezing my arm. That's more than I deserved. That night, as I left his room, he was already asleep, breathing steady, a faint smile on his face. For the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't expected to find again: peace.